Hmm. Hey, how's it going? Hmm. Hey. This should basically just be working same as any other stream that I do, but I don't know, not the usual time, not exactly the usual. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Let's just get going. Cool. Okay. So, yeah. So this is I'm gonna stream a game that I found out about relatively recently. I just did not know about it, and I pulled up the tweet that got me onto it. So Brandon, aka RNG, a Twitter mutual of mine who lives in Australia, I think, and plays old cool PlayStation 2 games and stuff, tweeted this a while ago, and he was talking about ChuroQ HG2, which is the Japanese name for this game, uh, and said, I had just found a secret underwater temple and made my way to Papaya Island. I was about to try a fishing mini game, best racing game ever. And I was like, okay, this is a PS2 game where you can find a secret underwater temple and try a fishing mini game, and it looks kind of like this. That sounds like something I would be potentially interested in. So I downloaded an image, a disk image of it, off of archive.org, actually. Um, and yeah, and quickly became friends with this nice little game. It was called, I think it was released in the US as Everywhere Road Trip. It was released in Europe as Road Trip Adventure. And then in Japan, where it was originally developed, it was ChuroQ HG2. So yeah, let me just jump in here. All right, yeah, here we are. Hold on, I'm gonna turn down my headphone volume here, because I know what this game sounds like. Okay. Yeah, so this is just, you know what, let me change out my parts here to, so ChuroQ is a brand of little toy cars in Japan. It goes way back to, like, I don't know, at least the 80s, I believe. And just want to change out to something a little less ridiculous here. Oh, it's possible that I'm going to need to unequip, yeah. Yeah, see, I've got teammates here. All I really wanted to do was just change to some off-road tires. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you start off your game in that garage. And what I'm going to do here is you can warp to any point in the world, and I am going to warp to the place where you start off, which is Peach Town. And yeah, so this garage is kind of like, you know, your control center-y type thing, where There are races. This is an actual racing game. It just happens to have a whole open world component to it. So you can choose races, and then World Grand Prix is like the final race that lets you like win the game, so to speak. And a lot of the game is based around upgrading and buying new parts and assembling a team to do the World Grand Prix with. But this is the main thing. Drive around town. This is what I'm going to look at today with this stream. By the way, let me know if you're hearing if there's any anomalies with the, I haven't streamed this game before, if there's any anomalies with the audio, video, and all that. This is emulated, and you know, my computer is fast enough to run this game at full speed, like basically all of the time, but I don't know if there's anything, I don't know, I just remember weird stuff happening with Doom streaming and all that. So you start off in this town called Peach Town, and yeah, like you go out into the world and you're just in this town in a world map that just stretches off in every direction. And when you bump into other cars, you get like standard RPG, JRPG style dialogue. And yeah, this person, like everybody, wants to join my team. And yeah, this is my... Right, and everybody has like a little something to say. Everybody has advice on stuff you can do. And yeah, like in the bottom left, I've got my mini map here. And yeah, let me bring up the entire world map. So yeah, this doesn't make much sense initially, but yeah, there's this very large C-shaped island that is this game's open world. And yeah, so that's what drew me to this game, just the idea of like, you know, in addition to like just these races and stuff, there's just this big world to explore. And if you go north from here, for instance, you know, there's like this little village road, you know, this is kind of like a European village sort of feel. And that's like a peach orchard off to the left there, where you can get, I don't know, you get a bottle of peach wine that somebody else in the world really wants. But then, yeah, you can just go off-road, which I equipped the right tires for this so that I'm not just skidding out constantly. And yeah, you really can just, I mean, so you're probably noticing how Spartan the graphics are. And yeah, this was a PS2 game, but it was like, I don't know, I mean, it just like its budget level and its fidelity level and all that was such that, yeah. And yeah, you can just drive off into the ocean. And I have rocket boosters on my car, so I can just, you know, and yeah, there is actually stuff underwater and whatever, but we'll get to that later. And then yeah, if you're ever off just exploring somewhere that you don't want to be, oh wait, no, I didn't want to be here. Yeah, you end up having your own little house with a computer that you can check emails at. Yeah, I should back up a little bit, actually. All right, let's warp back to Peach Town here. I should back up. This is a world where there are no humans, or like cars are the people of this world. Much like the very strange Pixar, you know, animated franchise Cars, except not creepy. Like I've always found those movies like creepy and weird, and they specifically do stuff that calls attention to the fact that it's intensely weird that humans aren't around. Like they have like gas stations and stuff, and it's like, okay, who works the gas pumps? Like this world was not built with car-like affordances. Whereas at least here, it's absurd, but it's very friendly. Like, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words to convey why I find this game charming and why I find Pixar's Cars just sort of creepy and silly. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, and also, yeah, you've noticed that night has fallen. There's a day-night cycle here. And yeah, we can just go into any random person's house, and there's the car inside their house. And yeah. And yeah, this person also wants to join your team. Yeah, there's a certain point in the game... Oh, this person has a package. And yeah, I've customized my ridiculous vehicle with rocket boosters, and I have a little sign on the top that I get, like, you go into, like, there's a few different, like the coffee shop in this town. You go in, and they're like, hey, we need to advertise our coffee shop. Do you want do you want us to pay you per mile to drive around with this sign on your roof? And you're like, sure. And then you just swing by every so often and get paid for the miles that you've driven. So, so yeah, it's sort of a bummer that I sort of wish that I've got a clock on my speedometer here, and I sort of wish that it wasn't nighttime, because this world is sort of more pleasant to see at night. But yeah, you start off in Peach City, and there's plenty of like races and stuff you can do along the way, and you can duck into all these little houses and get quests from people and stuff like that. And the main way of tracking that stuff is you have this stamp book, and there's all these little quests you can do, and many of them are not revealed at first, and they only pop up once you sort of know about what they are. And I've done like most of these. I'm like most of the way through this game. And there's also these little photo booth type places where you can, let me just go into one of those. I think one of them is right here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is station number 5. It has 5 written on the side of it. Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah. And see, that's the photo that you can take there. I guess it's during the daytime somehow. But, yeah, and then they give you a hint as to where to find the next number in the series. And so yeah, it's just like these little, it's just another form of collectible, really, where, you show up and you can get a picture taken, and you have a specific book for all of the pictures that you've taken. And these are distributed, there's 100 of these, and they're distributed all throughout the world, and you can kind of see that it goes through different biomes and different parts of the world. And so what I'm going to do on this stream is I'm just going to drive across the entire world in a loop, because it does generally form a loop. And yeah, that'll be kind of a good tour of what this game's world is like and what its overall deal is. Yeah, this is like a little radio station. There's something involving, like, you can win a ticket to visit the studio or something. And there's always, every town has like the usual appointment of, like, there's a paint shop to change your paint colors. And there's a parts shop where you can like get better engines and tires and stuff. There's a body shop where you can just change out different cosmetic, like the actual car body. How deep is the lore? I don't know. I mean, yeah, the lore is not, there is some lore to this world. Yeah. Yeah, this is the coffee shop that pays you to put their sign. But another place gave me a better deal, so that's why I've got this coconut shop sign on my roof. And we'll get there eventually. Okay, so we're gonna drive through the world, and for most of the game, there are these helpful red signs that say next city. And if you get on that, you'll know that you can, that's how you know which road to take to get to the next area. And yeah, this is a hint of what the next, yeah, so next, Fuji City. So eventually we're gonna come to a place called Fuji City. Yeah, it's interesting that you say it looks like a Source Engine game. I guess I could see that. I mean, I would love it if somebody made something like this, but on PC and multiplayer. Like, that could be pretty amazing, really. Yeah, and so we're driving down, and the terrain's starting to change. Peach City is a very, like, green rolling hills. It just feels like rural Europe, like it could just be some little French town or something. But now we're getting out into like a beach. There's like a cool beach here, and there's like an actual desert off in this direction. See, this is why I wish the sun would come up, because yeah. And then we start seeing palm trees. So this is kind of like a Southern California, like LA beach sort of situation, or like a Baja California kind of thing. And yeah, we're just driving along the beach at night. It's nice. Something about this feels like someone's overambitious Gary's mod map they had put on the workshop that has like 1 million downloads and is on every server. See, I wish. If somebody wants to make that happen, please do so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I even thought about like how I would make this with any of the engines that I know how to like, you know, do big ambitious stuff in. You know, like, oh yeah, is there a way you could do this with Quake 3? And it's like, well, yes, and the engine probably could scale, but like, it would be weird and hard, and the tools are not very well set up for it. So yeah, I think, I don't know, I don't quite know the right tech solution for this. Also supporting like a full-on like racing game or something. You know, I've never developed a racing game before, and you know, I imagine that there's a lot of specific things about physics and all that. So yeah, we're coming to a big bridge. It's like the big bridge in the world. And it's a little bit like the Golden Gate Bridge, but also just like any old big suspension bridge. And we've got kind of like a boardwalk sort of thing here. It's a little bit Santa Monica Pier, a little bit just any generic boardwalk in the world. And yeah, as you can probably see, there's like a lot of places to stuff like secrets and stuff. And there are these coins. There's 100 Choro Q coins in the world. And so those are like the little GTA hidden package type things that you can collect. And I've unfortunately collected all of them, so we don't get to like find those as we're driving around here, but yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, and we see the next city sign still pointing us ahead, so we'll go there. Yeah, oh, I didn't mention, I didn't finish explaining what Choro Q was. Choro Q is a line of toy car, of little scrunchy, cute, super deformed cars in Japan. And they're made by Takara, apparently, which is the same company that manufactured Transformers originally, I guess. And yeah, they've been big in Japan for a while, and they were marketed in the US at least as penny racers. And they had like a little compartment on the back where you could put a penny in. That would make them, the counterweight would make them do a little wheelie. And I don't remember these from my childhood, like in the 80s, I guess, but I did find a commercial for penny racers on YouTube, so I guess they were around. And then I think they sort of got a little more heavily marketed in the 90s. So it's something that, you know, it's a toy line that, you know, I mean, toy cars are probably always going to be popular, so, you know, I think they've been brought to the US and elsewhere multiple times. So yeah, now we're in the little Q factory place at Fuji City, which is, much as Peach City was a kind of medieval Europe sort of villa, this is a medieval Japan type place. And yeah, I really wish the sun would come up here because, oh yeah, they've got the cherry blossoms 24/7, and dead ahead of us here is a big castle. Just a big, cool, old castle with like the, you know, the classic like moat around it and stuff like that. And yeah, let's see, where, I think there's a place, yeah. You can go into this castle at various points. This is like a princess. Yeah, the princess secretly participates in races. Good for her. Maybe I need a team. That's what I thought. So I want to ask you, I feel bad for your teammate, but will you let me join your team? Yes or no? Aw, you never let me have what I want. Fine then. Tell me if you change your mind. See you later. So yeah, like at a certain point, you reach progression in the world. You become able to do team racing. And having teammates does have benefits. Like you can, like if you put these little like pay per mile signs on them, you can earn additional money from miles that they drive, which sounds a little bit like, you know, profiting off of their labor. Like, am I redistributing this to my team? Anyway, but yeah, at that point, everybody, like so many people in the world want to join your team, and that's basically my main gripe with this game. There are many things about this game that I absolutely love and would not change. But yeah, the fact that the interface for getting people on your team involves just any kind of NPC conversation, people are always asking you. And if you're happy with your current team, you basically like have to always be turning people down, and that is such a bummer. It really conflicts with like the very easygoing, low conflict nature of this game and world. So I'm actually really bummed about that. You know, not that like the social unease of like turning down somebody who wants to be on your team is that great, but it's like just kind of like a string of constant small bummers. So I don't know. Yeah, if I were gonna like remake this game or something, I would want to make it like it's a thing that you actively have to do. Like you can walk up and talk to people, and then there's a special button you can hit maybe to be like recruit, and then it's like, oh, you want me to be on your team? And then it becomes like a happy thing where you're like, oh yeah, I'm specifically asking you to be on my team, rather than just constantly disappointing everybody. And some people are like rude about it. They're like, oh, so you don't want me to be on your team? And other people are like, oh yeah, I'm sorry I asked, you know, I guess I'm not good enough. So it's just a freaking bummer all around. Anyway, that's my gripe. But yeah, we can continue on with, yeah, and actually there's so I do want to like stop and kind of smell the roses here and see some of the cool stuff that you can do in each little part of the world. I'm gonna like take the weird way around. Yeah, and there's a car driving around in the moat down there. Cars can drive in water in this world. Cars are people. Cars can drive in water. It's fine. It's all good. The maximum team size is 3, so it's you and two other people. So like, you know, you fill up just immediately, basically. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh wait, no, I didn't want to go here. I wanted to go. Haven't been looking. Whoa, my monitor just turned off. I imagine it blinked back on, but I don't know why it did that. All right, I'm gonna go up to, there's a nice little, yeah, that's right. Nope, not this way. Yeah, the game world is very open. I think they sort of understood that like, there's only so many ways you can really like gate people. I mean, there are definitely like hard world edges for sure. You know, there's hard world edges all around. Like this is a hard world edge right here, and it's basically just like skinned as like the edge of a forest or something. But yeah, we can drive. There's like this kind of palace or manor up on a hill. And yeah, there was a whole subplot involving somebody who had been kidnapped. And then yeah, if you drive off here, this is actually like a scenic overlook of the whole town. And of course there's a photo spot here. Yeah, actually let me drive into that so you can see what it looks like during the daytime. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it looks like during the daytime. Okay. And yeah, let's just go ahead and yeah, like there's not, your vehicle doesn't really take damage per se, so you can just drive off cliffs and whatever. Doesn't matter. You're fine. There is like an energy meter here that is analogous to like your gas tank. And as you can see, I am burning through it, but it fills up basically every time you go into a structure. So you don't really need to worry about it, except during races when you were like conserving fuel. And this rocket booster here, which gets you up to a very fast speed very quickly, that drains it pretty quickly. But if you're not doing that and you're just driving around the world, then you generally don't have to worry about. Yeah. And so this is an example of a little secret, you know, like you turn off the main road and then you drive along these like kind of precarious cliffs, and then this is like a house that you can go into, and I forget what the deal with this is. What is this place? Okay, whatever this person used to say to me, they now just want to be on my team. Yeah, because The world isn't quite in a post-game state, but, you know, it's near the end, and so, you know, where normally people would be, like, talking about the quests that they have for me and stuff like that. So yeah, okay, it's 1 a.m., and we're on the outskirts here of Fuji City. There's, like, these signs that are the good, reliable red signs that say next city are pointing us to a new place. So let's go see what that's all about. All right, yeah, and this is pointing us to a place called My City. And yeah. And yeah, you can see on the world map, there's the big bridge that we went south through, and then the Fuji City is on its own little island, much like Japan. And now we're back on the mainland mass. This highway actually goes right along the ocean, although you can't see it very easily. And yeah, we're just doing some highway driving. Because in most countries, if you take a big long road trip, you're going to be driving on a highway system like this. Although this does feel very distinctly American. You know, just like the giant... There's other places where there's a big cloverleaf thing and just the big old, you know, spread out land is cheap style American highway system. All right, so we're going to take the exit for My City here. Oh yeah, I should mention there's a radio station with your car has a radio, and there are two stations here. This is like an easy listening type thing that is like, you know, MIDI style, like MIDI sounding music done by the game's composer. And then this is this is Peach FM, which is a selection of 4 licensed tracks, 3 of which are by a relatively obscure, as far as I can tell, band called the Push Kings. And yeah, they're like this American band that made a few albums back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I guess. And I guess they just like licensed some music, you know? I mean, I'm sure that like the localizers of this game were like, yeah, we want you to be able to, like, GTA 3 had come out by the time this game came out. And I'm guessing that they were like, we want to have a radio station where you can hear actual recorded pop music, because that's like this cool verisimilitude sort of thing. And it does definitely add something, you know, like, and yeah, like these 4 tracks are just kind of pop rock, earwormy type thing. It's, I don't know, it's just another weird little part of the aesthetic of this game. So I'll leave Peach FM going for a while. So yeah, My City, we are now in My City, and My City is a place that when you first come here, it is basically an almost entirely empty lot, except for this one building, Wonder Realty. And you show up, and I guess there's this company. Oh, okay, I had no idea. Cool, all right, yeah. Yeah, so My City starts off and it's a completely blank lot, and then you get your little house, which I think is this building, just a tiny little house. And then as you drive around the world, you meet a bunch of people who are like, yeah, you know, I've really been looking to move to some other place, or I've always really wanted to start up a shop. Do you know of any town that needs a shop? And you meet all these people, and you can tell them, once you've been to My City, you can tell them about My City, and then they will just move in here. And so all of these buildings are people in the world that you've met. And eventually you have like just this full city here, and there's somebody who builds a big tower there and stuff like that. And all these little people who are driving around are people that you found in the world who weren't happy with where they were, or they wanted to, like, you know, strike out on their own and start something new. And so yeah, like the body shop here and just all the little vendors and all that are places. So yeah, this is and yeah, there's a quest in Zelda Breath of the Wild that's a little similar to this. You know, you're like building a town from nothing. Yeah, I guess there's a little bank. Yeah, this is a hint about a quest. Hey, you have your own fire department and stuff. Nope, sorry buddy, you cannot be on my team. It's cool, whatever. Yeah, so that's my city, and yeah, it's interesting. There's a few mini games you can play here that open up, but yeah, it's basically just something that grows with time as you meet more and more people in the world, and it also just like gives you an incentive to like talk to everyone you meet, because they might be one of those people who are thinking about moving to my city. And once you complete my city, you get, you know, there's some stamp book quests that are, yeah, I think those are all these. Yep. So yeah, it just becomes, you know, by the time you fully flesh it out, it's as big as any other city in the game. And yeah, cool. And yeah, it is kind of in the middle of the desert here, so it's just this little oasis. Okay, so yeah, let's move on to the next major part of the world. And yeah, just for comparison, yeah, we're down in like the far southeast part of the world here. So yeah, we'll get back on the highway here. And this whole world isn't highways, but this part of it certainly is. I think it sort of fits for driving across the desert. Definitely reminds me of like the American Southwest kind of, or Texas where I grew up. Got to drive for 30 minutes to get anywhere. All right, there's the exit for Sandopolis, or Sandpolis. And yeah, so Sandpolis is a sort of Las Vegas style metropolis, in the neon metropolis in the middle of the desert. And yeah, there's some of these photo booth type places here. Oh yeah, that's right. And it has like this little, there's sort of like this outlier bit that doesn't have much to it. It's almost like those places where future development is going to happen. And yeah, it's good at least that we came to Sandopolis in the middle of the night, because there are these Luxor style, you know, pyramid, you know, things. And this very gaudy, lit up kind of, you know, downtown area. You've got all the essential shops like the body shop and the parts shop and all that. It's sort of little Main Street type drag. Oh, you're asking about the HEV suit ding? No, that it's sort of similar, but that's the sound. Those green lights that are blinking in the lower left corner. That's your email notification. Like that's how the game tells you that you've got a new email waiting for you back at your home, which is weird. And yeah, it just does that little ding. So yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of mini games available here. Like there's a soccer game that is basically like a 3-on-3 soccer but with cars, many years before Rocket League, obviously. And yeah, it's tough. Like the game's like racing controls and stuff aren't super well set up for a Rocket League type thing, but you know, it's fun enough. All the mini games are kind of like, you know, implemented at like this sort of, you know, functional level that, you know, makes them worth doing, but not super deep games in their own right. There's a cake shop where you can get a sign and drive around. I think that one gives you like $30 per mile. This is like a high precision driving course type thing, you know, where you like try to run through a specific course of cones and stuff. And yeah, this might be like the big casino or something. Yeah, I don't want to play roulette. Whatever. I think the stamp you get for that one is just played roulette. You don't have to win anything or anything. But yeah, that's Sandpolis. Oh yeah, and there's actually a decent bit more to this whole area. So let me go. Yeah, there's the main drag here, but then there's also Whoa. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, so just to the west of, like, the main part of Sandpolis, there's, like, this kind of sleepy Old West town kind of thing. It's not a ghost town, because there are people living in these places, but it's just a lot more rustic, you know? I forget what this place is all about. Yeah, I guess this is like the police force tier or something. I don't know. And yeah, there's like a little saloon. Like when you go to each of the bar, like every city in the world has a bar, and the bartender always gives you hints about where to find the Churokyu coins in that part of the world. Which is quite helpful, because even though you get like a radar detector type thing lately, the hints still help you narrow it down. And yeah, this is a lighthouse that is on the coast. Yeah, we're just right at the edge of the world here. And yeah, there's this nice little lighthouse, and you can go in and talk to the lighthouse keeper. I think the lighthouse keeper's brother works at the police station in Mountain Town or something. I don't know. Yeah, there's just like a few little scattered buildings and stuff. And then yeah, there's something else. It's off in this direction. It's still... The sun's probably going to start coming up soon, I think. Yeah, okay, here we go. Ah, yeah, here we go. So yeah, I was pretty surprised to find this initially. These are ancient ruins, and they're like these Mesoamerican pyramids. Yeah, like there's 5 of them. There's a big one in the middle, and then 4 around it. And it's, you know, it's not like totally abandoned. Like there are these little Photoshop type places. But yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, the sun's starting to come up. So yeah, there's just like this big complex of ancient ruins out on the... Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's out on this little peninsula in the west edge of the south subcontinent. Cool, all right. Well, yeah, let's, I think I probably want to get back on the highway here. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to get back on the highway here to be able to get where I want to go next. Yeah, you can just drive across the desert. There we are. There's Sandpolis. Where is the on-ramp here? Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I just got to take these clover leaves. Probably, yeah. And yeah, one of the things you can do in my city is there's a rally center where you can start a rally race that takes you over the entire world. Let's see, I don't want to go to Chestnut Canyon, there we go. All right, so we're gonna take this clover leaf and then be going... All right. Why are my tires squealing like that? All right, and yeah, this is Sandpolis seen from the highway. And when I first saw those, when I first found those ruins, I had been kind of like wandering in the desert for a while. I was like, whoa, this is like off in some little corner. But then during the daytime, if you're on the highway, you can just see these from the highway. So it sort of like punctures a bit of the mystique of them feeling like this remote, lost location, but it's fine. The world is only so big. They'd have had to make stuff way bigger to make that really off on its own. All right, so yeah, we're coming up on some cliffs here, and we're going into a tunnel on these cliffs. There's a cool little cliff tunnel type thing. Yeah, there's that email chime again. All right, and now we are very much in like a Grand Canyon, Southwest desert type thing. And yeah, we're gonna take the off-ramp for Chestnut Canyon. Oh geez. The other face of Chestnut Canyon. The fact is, hot magma flows under this dry ground. There may have been a volcano long ago. And there's an iron-making factory that utilizes it. The entrance is near the cliff on the way to Mushroom Road. Try growing there once. It's a fun place. Clown. So, that person said clown because when you first arrive in Chestnut Canyon, you talk to somebody who's like, hey, I need a new greeting. Can you type in a greeting for me? And I just typed in clown, just not knowing what was going to come of that decision. All right, I'm just stopping in here to fuel up. And then sure enough, everybody in Chestnut Canyon says clown when they talk to you now, so that's an example of the weird, like, you know, impact on world you have. So yeah, we're kind of up in the mountains here, you know, and we're like above a canyon type thing. And yeah, this little town is pretty small, really. It's just sort of like a... Yeah, I think there's like a world edge here that looks out over the desert we were just driving through. Oh, God. All right. So yeah, that's Chestnut Canyon. You now have to deal with your clownery. Yeah, no, I fully accept people calling me clown because I typed in clown. That is, I suspected as much. Yeah, I've played Animal Crossing before. I know how that works when somebody asks you to customize their greeting. And yeah, and in fact, there are things about this that feel a little bit Animal Crossing-like, you know, especially the My City aspect where people show up to live in your place because you asked them to and whatever. So yeah, we're getting out of desert times, and whoa, geez. And we see like this big, mighty river going here, and we're like on dirt roads. Should have switched to my big knobbly tires, my big off-roading tires, but these will do fine. Yeah, we get funneled down into kind of a little forest dirt canyon here. Oh. All right, so we're coming up now on what is really just like a small little town. You can see it's kind of just cut out of the forest here. And yeah, it's Mushroom Town. All the buildings are little mushrooms. It's adorable. And this is really all there is to it. There's like those few buildings there. And there's another clearing here with a few more buildings. There's a bar, and there is a golf course. Yeah, like the golf course is a major part of this because there's like a full there's a 9-hole golf course where you hit the ball by driving into it. And yeah, it's a whole thing. And it's, you know, if any of you decide to play this game, I would definitely recommend holding off on playing many of the mini games seriously, especially the golf, until you've like upgraded your tires and engine a fair amount. Because if your car is just slow and doesn't handle super well, you will just not be able to make good shots with golf. You'll hit the ball, but it'll only travel a little bit, and you'll finish like many shots over. Just, yeah, a lot of the mini games are frustrating if you have only like a beginner to intermediate level car. So yeah, we're passing on a bridge over that big river we saw, and we're passing out of mushroom territory. And now we're getting into snowy mountains. So yeah, this world feels like, on the one hand, it feels very big, you know, because I've been driving for like however long. And but on the other hand, it feels very condensed, you know, like you don't really have to drive for very long at all before it transitions into another biome. So it almost feels like Disneyland or Epcot Center in that regard, you know, where like there's all this stuff that's like actually squished together in hyper close proximity, and each area is just big enough to make you feel like it's its own thing. You know, like right now I'm in the snow town called White Mountain. You know, and I look in every direction and I see snow, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm in the snowy mountains now. But the total amount of real estate that you need to do that is not huge, although this area is kind of bigger because it does represent. Yeah, you can see that this does sit on its own decent little chunk of land. So yeah. Yeah, what all is there to do in White Mountain? There's like this. There's this hill that you can climb. And yeah, I've got good enough like off-road tire type situation. Ugh. All right, I found an area where it's not good to go. Woo! Oh geez. Oh god. All right, I just went over a hill. Oh no! All right, so yeah, I've fallen off of the big plateau here, and I'm just in this large expanse of grass on the plateau beneath. So I'm going to use the warp capability. This is the fast travel thing, where you can be like, yeah. Okay, so now we're back in that. We're right back in that area where we were. So yeah, we actually have a few choices as to where we can go here. We came in from the south, up that like snaking road from Mushroom Town and the Chestnut Mountain area. We could go east. I'm trying to decide what we want to do here. Yeah, I'm going to carry on here, actually. Yeah, I'm going to follow the red signs to next city. And that takes us into this tunnel. This very N64 Zelda feeling tunnel. I mean, a lot of this feels N64 like, you know, just the overall level of fidelity is pretty N64. The car details are a good deal more fancy, but, you know, in terms of the total amount of texture and world geometry detail, it's all pretty primitive, but you know, I feel like that, you know, that's what enabled them to be able to make this big, cool world with so many different things in it. All right, so yeah, we're coming to the end of this tunnel, and we've been heading west. And yeah, there's two little photo booths here, and then, whoop, we just fall off into the ocean. And this is the underwater temple that that Brandon was talking about, that got me interested in this game in the first place. And yeah, this person gives me initially gave me a spoiler as well as a propeller set that lets you drive at nice normal speeds while still underwater, because before then you move really slowly. And in fact, actually, yeah, I don't have that propeller on right now, so I am actually moving pretty slow here. But I don't care so much because I've also got rocket boost, and that kind of makes up for my ability to accelerate much underwater. And so yeah, if I just keep heading west here, yeah, eventually. Yeah, there we go. So you can see this island starting to come up in our auto map, and then we can see it in the distance here. Yeah, I do wish the underwater ruins were like their own location, but underwater driving also isn't quite as much fun because of the handling differences. And yeah, there's another NPC that you meet underwater and stuff. So yeah, here we are on Papaya Island. Just drive up onto the shore. There's people cruising around on the beach. There's this little town here. Whoops. Hey, I'm a beach boy. I'm confident about racing. I feel bad for your teammate, but please let me join for your team. Let me join your team. Oh, I can't join your team? Come see me whenever you change your mind. By the way, I'm handsome. I think so whenever I see myself in the mirror. Haha. So yeah, like, I feel like the style of this game's localization is maybe like, I don't know, people who know more about game localization than me should feel free to chime in, but I feel like this is sort of like, they took a very like literal approach to the game's localization, kind of. Like, things are, you can just sort of tell that they tried to translate stuff faithfully rather than like try to create new characters, essentially. You know, the way that, like, say the localization for Animal Crossing does. Which is just a different, you know, they approached it less as writers and more as translators. I mean, I don't say that to like denigrate the work that the localization team for this game did, but I don't know, it ends up lending it a different tone, and it's sort of charming, and it's a little bit more childlike, you know, because I think they resorted to like simpler language to like make some of the concepts and, you know, just language translate. So, I don't know. I mean, it ends up contributing to the game's tone in a positive way, I feel like, because, I don't know, it's just like everybody is just sort of like, you know, I don't know, it lends this sense of like kindness and coziness to it a lot of times, even if people are being jerks or something. So yeah, this is another area of Papaya Island we can drive through. Because I have relatively decent off-road tires, I can actually handle these like weird turns and stuff. And then yeah, we can do this little jump over that lagoon. And yeah, this is like just a little area. Oh yeah, let me go. This is the coconut shop, whose sign I've been driving around with this whole time. And yeah, I earned just about 3,000 bucks doing this drive so far, so that's not nothing. I can use that to buy parts for my team, make them better racers so that they can do well in the standings alongside me. That's a little obstacle course, which is just, you know, like a timed race through a course where you have to do all kinds of ridiculous jumps and stuff. Yeah, all right, so... And yeah, this is a little... Yeah, so now we're up on a little higher level of this island. And yeah, there's this special tree. There's like this ancient tree. And I think this guy lives inside of it. The Papu tree. Yeah. Like everybody else, he wants to be on my team, and I have to disappoint him. Yeah, so... And so, yeah, here we are passing out of this and on to... Woo! No! Damn it. All right. Well, that island that I was trying to get up onto has a little... So who are the lucky ones who are on your team? I don't know, just some randos that were driving around when I was much earlier in the game. I think I've maybe changed out one or two people a couple of times, but like that's the thing. Like I think everybody performs more like a teammate's performance in a race is more or less down to how good the parts that you've given them are. So it's more just a choice of like their name and then the specific appearance of their car or vehicle is what it comes down to. Yeah, so that rainbow is actually, like that rainbow, where that rainbow touches the ground is actually the place where we can travel to this game's last major location. And yeah, let me see if I can actually make the jump this time. No! I keep screwing this up. Okay, well just imagine that I make it onto that little bitty island And you drive into a house, and it's like, would you like to travel to travel to Cloud Hill? And then you do, and then it just teleports you here. Well, it doesn't quite teleport you here. It shows you driving up to... Yeah, you come up like right here. You come up over this rainbow, and then you are in this little cloud city made of floating islands and rainbow bridges connecting the floating islands. And there are some wacky cars like that ladybug car. It's pretty cool. And yeah, this town has kind of like a high technology, like whimsical, high tech / steampunk kind of thing to it. And yeah, it's not actually that big. But you know, there's the usual like photo booths and car parts shop and some NPCs that give you quests and stuff. Oh yeah, and I should visit the president's mansion actually, because that is actually kind of like the main overarching quest in this game. Alright, I think this is the way. Auto map doesn't work. Alright. So yeah, this big mansion up on its own island here is the president's mansion. And at the very beginning of the game, we see this little cutscene in the president's mansion where the president, who is of course also a car, is like, I'm burned out on being president. I don't want to be president anymore. And he decides to anybody who wins the World Grand Prix race, he will race against them, and if they win, they get to be president. So that's the main quest for the game. Like the last stamp in your book here is became president. Yeah, became the president. So yeah, so that's what you're trying to do. And yeah, I haven't done the World Grand Prix thing yet, so I have not yet become president. And I think once you win it, the game continues, but you're just president now, and everybody refers to you as Mr. President, I've heard, which is, you know, I wish that they had given people the option of a choice of honorifics there, but whatever. So yeah, that is that's the last major location in this town, but there's a decent chunk of the world that we haven't seen, so I'm actually gonna teleport back to Mountain Town here. And I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna follow this road east here. Yeah, this is like this bridge over an icy lake. There's like these big mansion type houses along it. There's like a rich guy who has a safe you can do a quest to open. So yeah, it's just more of the mountain town area. And then we go into this tunnel. And then, yeah, we pop out in sort of like a forest mountain type. Yeah, there's like a little waterfall here. Yeah, I guess this is like the source of a river. Yeah. Oh, geez. Let's stay on the road here, even though we don't technically have to. And yeah, I wish the sun were up here, because this is sort of more pleasant to drive through this foresty section at night. You can kind of get the idea of what it is. Some photo spots along the way, go on these bridges over the big river. And yeah, it is possible, like, a couple of times I've taken a funky jump, and you can kind of tell that, like, these like forest wall things are just that. They're just walls. And so they're like the forests actually serve as like plateaus. And I had a look at a speed run for the game, and it does seem to involve like taking ludicrous jumps with the rocket boosters and landing on the tops of these forest plateaus and just being able to skip over big chunks of the game world. I mean, it doesn't really, yeah, like the game, there's very little in this game that could be considered a sequence break, sort of. But yeah, that's sort of the closest thing it has to it. We're following along with this little river. Just a cool mountain river kind of thing. And then, yeah, we're gonna come to endpoint of all of this pretty soon. So we've been driving east from White Mountain, and yeah, there is just a big cliff. Then it drops us off in this more rolling grassland type stuff, and you can see that there are big windmills, some big like power windmills. And this person's house here, like I think you go in there and they ask you like, have you counted how many windmills there are? If you can correctly guess it, then I'll give you a prize or something. Yeah, and you just head east through these green rolling hills for a while. And yeah, the creek, the river continues on here. Some random photo booths and stuff. There's just a lot of land here you can stunt around on. But pretty soon here, yeah, we are coming up on Peachtown. Is it Peachtown? Peachtown, yes. Peachtown in Fuji City. Yeah, so yeah, we are now back at Peachtown, which is where you start the game and where we started this this run through. So yeah, we've done, if you look at the world map, we've done a full loop all around this C-shaped island, going through some mountain roads, going through some highways and all that. And it is just a big loop, but then it has those spurs for going out west to Papaya Island, across the ocean. And yeah, so that's kind of most of what I wanted to cover for this. But yeah, like, I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with this game because the freedom that it gives you within its admittedly very sparse world, I really appreciated. And just the overall, like, yeah, low conflict, chill kind of tone. And the fact that the game's, like, localized title is Road Trip. You know, it's sort of like, it's like they want you to wander around. They know that that's a big significant part of it. Like, you do spend, if you're actually trying to, like, you know, complete all the challenges in this game, you do end up doing a lot of the races. And the races are pretty good. A lot of the courses and stuff are enjoyable and stuff. Like it's pretty decent as a racing game. But this open world aspect is the real draw, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a cool little game to run around and, you know, just take a road trip basically. And yeah, I dig it. I appreciate what this game does, and And yeah, there have been other games in the Churro series. The Churro HG series, I think, is like the sub franchise that is all about this it's called CarPG, where you're leveling up your car by upgrading its parts and all that kind of stuff. But this one, I think, is widely considered like the height of the series. It's the one with like the most freedom and all that. So yeah, if you can find it, a copy of it on PS2, or find an image of it somewhere. I'm running it in PCSX2, the emulator. It runs pretty decently on my machine. Yeah, that's about all I've got for today. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed looking at this. If you play this game, enjoy it. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Yeah, and I don't know. Since we're all stuck inside, if a road trip sounds like a nice thing to you, there's a lot of different ways you can get that experience in a game. And actually, something I might stream, I don't know, later today or tomorrow or something like that, sometime soon, is I might do a similar kind of road trip all the way around a moon in No Man's Sky. So I'll announce that on Mastodon and Twitter if I do that. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope y'all are doing okay. Stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. And yeah, thanks for watching.